just so busy because she's, you know, accomplishing all her dreams right now. She just did Othello. So, I mean, she's just really busy. She's always on the go.
Riley Burruss finally spoke her truth, and everyone's listening now. Riley Burruss just said out loud what so many people have been quietly wondering for years, but no one ever thought she'd actually confirm. So, here's what happened. Riley recently appeared on a podcast and opened up about what it was really like growing up as the daughter of Real Housewives of Atlanta star Kandi Burruss. And what she said caught a lot of people off guard. For years, Riley says she felt less like a daughter and more like a piece of her mother's image, like something that helped complete the picture but didn't have much of a voice. If you've watched Real Housewives of Atlanta, this hits differently now. Think back. Anytime Riley appeared on the show, she was usually just there. Quiet, reserved, not really expressive or playful. At the time, people assumed she was just a shy teenager, maybe a little uncomfortable being on camera. But now? Riley's saying that wasn't the case at all. According to her, it wasn't about being shy, it was about feeling like she had to play a part. She was expected to look a certain way, behave a certain way, and present the perfect image even if she didn't feel like smiling or being on screen.
I call her and she's like, okay, Riley, here's my advice. Here's what happened when I was doing it. You know, take this as you may.
It felt like she was more of a background figure meant to support a brand, not a child being loved just for who she was. That hits hard for a lot of people. Because when a kid starts to feel like they're more of a prop than a person, that's not just uncomfortable, that's painful. If you go back and watch old episodes, Riley is often in the background. People chalked it up to typical teenage behavior, but now it seems more like she didn't feel safe or comfortable expressing what was really going on inside. And let's not forget her father, Russell Block Spencer. He was never really around much. That was something the show openly talked about. Kandi tried several times to encourage him to be more involved in Riley's life, and she even spoke about the hurt it caused. But Riley's recent comments added another layer that people weren't ready for. She said yes, her dad wasn't present. But what hurt more was feeling unseen by the parent who was there. That line stopped everyone in their tracks. Sometimes the parent who's present can still make you feel invisible. It's one thing to be abandoned by a parent. But Riley wasn't just talking about that, she was talking about emotional neglect. Kandi may have physically been around. She provided, supported, and showed up to events.
When she was growing up on TV, it wasn't really about her, so you just saw her here and there. But now this show is like literally about her and the other kids, the young people on the show. And I think that's letting her realize, oh, okay, that means I really gotta get my life together because y'all actually paying attention now.
But Riley says she didn't always feel seen or heard. And that's the part that really hurt, not just what was missing, but what was there in a physical sense, but not in the way that truly mattered to her. This is where it gets real. A lot of people praise parents who stick around, especially when the other parent is absent. And yes, being present matters. But Riley is reminding us that presence doesn't always equal emotional closeness. Just being under the same roof doesn't mean there's a deep connection. Riley also said something a lot of kids with wealthy parents are afraid to admit: money doesn't fix emotional wounds. She grew up with a lot private schools, nice vacations, designer clothes, and even a spot at NYU. But she made it clear none of that could replace having a mother who slowed down enough to really listen.
You're the minority, and it's okay. You have learned how to, make friends in all different circles from all walks of life, and that's one thing that I'm proud of you about. And you're not afraid to speak up for yourself, which you should not be. He's gonna have to learn to deal with Black women, and if this is his first lesson, then let that be it.
That one line she said? I needed more than gifts and vacations. I needed a mom who could slow down and just see me. It wasn't dramatic. It was honest. And it struck a nerve with a lot of people. She wasn't blaming. She wasn't bitter. She didn't say her mom was terrible or didn't love her. She simply said her mom was always busy, always grinding, and in the middle of all that, Riley felt emotionally overlooked. Her words felt real because she wasn't trying to bash anyone.
Miss Kandi Burruss, and people might remember me from Real Housewives of Atlanta as a kid.
She was trying to explain. After her interview went viral, people waited to hear how Kandi would respond. Eventually, she went live on Instagram. But instead of directly mentioning Riley or addressing what was said, Kandi kept things vague. She said things like, "Parenting isn't easy, especially when you're working hard to provide. I did my best. Maybe I missed some moments, but I tried in other ways." She wasn't angry, but she wasn't open either. It felt like she was trying to acknowledge there was tension without really owning it. That rubbed people the wrong way. One fan commented, "This is exactly the problem. Riley said gifts weren't enough, and your response is just listing what you gave her." And from there, things got messy. Fans started pulling up old clips from the show, YouTube, interviews, and looking at them through a new lens. One big moment that came up? Riley's college send-off. It was supposed to be this touching scene, but Riley looked completely detached. Kandi cried, shared how proud she was, but Riley didn't say much at all. At the time, people thought she was just awkward. Now, they're realizing that may have been emotional distance. Then there was that old YouTube Q&A from 2021 where Kandi joked about Riley being cold and not liking hugs. Back then it was funny. Now, it feels more like Kandi was missing the signs that Riley was emotionally shut down. Riley rarely appeared on reunion episodes either, even when the drama was about her father. And when she did, she barely spoke. And just when people thought the conversation was slowing down, Phaedra Parks entered the chat. She didn't name names, but it was obvious who she meant when she said some moms like to look perfect on TV but don't show up emotionally behind the scenes. Then she added that she once saw Riley crying backstage, wanting her mother's attention. That comment stirred the pot even more. A former Real Housewives production assistant also posted a TikTok saying she saw Riley backstage waiting around, alone with her phone, while Kandi did press. No one was with her, no team, no family. Just a quiet teenager trying to stay out of the way. All of this brought something deeper into focus. Riley's story sparked a bigger conversation, especially in the Black community. People started asking real questions about how we raise kids. There's a long-standing idea that Black mothers have to be strong, tough, and always handling business. And while that strength creates stability, it doesn't always create emotional safety. Riley's words gave voice to something many daughters feel but never say. That it's possible to be loved, supported, and provided for but still feel emotionally alone. Toward the end of all this, an anonymous message from one of Riley's old teachers began to circulate. The teacher said Riley wasn't a problem student. Her grades were fine. But emotionally? She looked overwhelmed. Not in a dramatic way, just like she was carrying a weight no child should have to carry. Everything Riley said, it checks out. And now, people are looking at years of footage and realizing the signs were always there. The silence. The distant expressions. The quiet sadness. Riley's interview wasn't some shocking expose. It was the moment that made everything click. She didn't want attention. She wanted understanding. As of now, Kandi hasn't said much else. Her live didn't put the issue to rest. But one thing's clear, Riley's voice is finally being heard. And it's sparking real, necessary conversations. So now the question is, was Riley wrong for speaking out? Or was this her one shot to be truly understood? Let's talk about it. So now that we've unpacked everything Riley said and looked at all the old clips, the reactions, the quiet moments that now seem way more meaningful, the big question becomes, what do we do with all this? Because honestly, this isn't just a story about a reality TV kid finally speaking her truth. It's about something much deeper, something a lot of people are feeling but haven't been able to put into words. Riley's courage to speak out has created a moment not just for her, but for anyone who grew up in a household that looked fine on the outside but felt empty on the inside. Where there were vacations, gifts, success, a nice house, and all the things people think make a great childhood, but emotionally, something was missing. And here's what makes this story hit so hard: Riley didn't come with anger. She didn't trash her mom. She didn't go viral with a scandal for clicks. She told her story calmly, truthfully, and respectfully. She just said, "This is how it felt for me. I needed more than things, I needed emotional connection." That honesty? It hit home for a lot of people. Especially daughters. Especially kids of high-achieving parents. Especially young people who were always told they were lucky but still felt lonely. And that's where the conversation opens up. Because Riley's not alone, she just had the platform to say it first. So maybe this moment isn't about dragging Kandi or blaming parents who were doing their best with what they had. Maybe it's about asking harder questions about what it really means to show up for your kids, not just with money or opportunities, but with time, presence, and patience. It's easy to say I was there, I paid the bills, I supported you, but sometimes a child needs more than support. They need to feel seen, heard, understood even when they're quiet. Especially when they're quiet. Now, whether you agree with Riley or not, one thing is clear, her story is real to her. And the way it sparked all these conversations? That says something. People are looking back at their own childhoods. People are asking themselves, did I feel emotionally safe as a kid? Or am I showing up for my children in the ways they need, not just the ways I think are right? This isn't gossip, it's growth. It's generational healing. And it's not always comfortable, but it's necessary. Do you feel like the emotional side of parenting gets overlooked while we focus on achievements and stability? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Be real. Be respectful. Let's have a conversation that goes beyond the headlines. Because this is bigger than reality TV. This is about real life, real feelings, and how we break the cycle of emotional silence. Make sure to like this video if it gave you something to think about, and don't forget to subscribe if you want more conversations that go beneath the surface. Thanks for watching, and as always, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and never be afraid to speak your truth. I'll see you in the next one.